Think we're live. Let's see. Yep, we are live. All right. Just a quick one. Letting people join a little bit. Let me do a quick shout out to Twitter for us to get on there. Oh, wrong account. Let me. So, what do y'all think? You probably have all heard the news. It's right on the page over there. Nick Frasso, Landon Knack, and Hunter Feduccia. So that is good news. I admit I'm a little surprised the way they seem to have treated Mr. Feduccia. I'll be working on my thumbnail later. But yeah, this is good news. There's some guys, of course, that didn't get added, and we'll talk about that in a second. And we'll, of course, have further things coming down the mountain about when the Rule 5 draft gets closer, about who might get picked up by another team. I'm going to see if I can pull up my notes here. So, again, congratulations to the guys to the three. Hunter Feduccia was a little bit of a surprise for me, and it's only not because he's not a good ball player, but because it just seems like they don't care about it. They're like, hey, you know what? Well, this guy will just he'll just be there, and yeah. So the guys that didn't get drafted, let's go through this: Carlos Duran, Tommy John, Jeremy Rosario. Braden Fisher, that's a guy. Alec Gamboa is a lefty that could get picked up. Edgardo Enriquez, Tommy John, Jose Ramos, that's another guy you picked up. Mark Washington, I have, but he's actually now a free agent. John Rooney, another lefty. Sarin Lau, who's new to pitching. Cody Hosey, 2019 first-round draft choice. Yainer Fernandez was not protected. I think he's still too low to be picked. Carson Taylor, close. And then Kendall Williams, who's been making a lot of progress. So I think if you look at it, it's going to be, I think, Gamboa and Rooney, especially Gamboa. I'm going to say Gamboa right now would be the guy we're going to lose. Not good, considering the left-handers that are still on that roster. Let's check the notifications. Things are starting to come out. Jeff Passan, okay, blah, blah, blah. Manager of the year, okay. And real quick, just before we do any further, as you may have heard, the owner of the San Diego Padres, Peter Seidler, has passed away. He's everything you'd want in an owner. And, he tried to build that Padre team with a lot of money, infused a lot of money for a small market team. Good for him. And good for the Padres. They will miss him. It's, a competitor like that. I guess, that just is what it is. He'd been sick before, sick a few times. Yeah, so rest in peace to Peter Sadler, to his family, the Sadler and O'Malley's. Remember, he's Peter O'Malley's nephew. Peter's still alive, so and that's got to be rough, losing a nephew. And to the fans of San Diego, of the San Diego Padres, he was a big part of the community. So I live down here. I know what he means to the community and the hope that he brought to that organization. So rest in peace, Peter Sadler. Other news, Andrew Friedman showed up on Doug McCain's doorstep. And so there has been an interview that they've conducted with Andrew Friedman, and that'll be out soon. Pretty excited for it. I'm looking forward to seeing it. And then, speaking of Doug, I need to reply to him. Yeah, so very, very cool for Doug. I'm very happy for him. Hopefully he gave Friedman our number here at Dodgers 2080. We, of course, Andrew, if you're out there, I'm sure you're watching. Please feel free to call me at any time. 867-5309. No, just hit me up in the DMs, Andrew. Actually, I have Let's see. I actually have a number for him to call. I'm going to throw it out there, folks. I'm going to throw this number out there. It's a Google Voice number. So let's get. He should dial me up. Google Voice. I keep forgetting the number, because I'm silly. But let me see here. I'm going to do weird stuff here. So settings. What's my number? Okay, you ready for it, everybody? There's a number that gets forwarded to my Google Voice. So it's a Pasadena number, area code 626-817-2080. Call anytime. Andrew Friedman, especially you. Brandon Gomes, you're allowed to call also. Dave Roberts, if you need any advice, I'm sure we can. The chat here can help you out with that. Speaking of the chat, we got anyone in there? Boy, do we have chat. Holy smokes, I was so busy looking at stuff. My goodness. Yay. The chat is the highlight of this program, that's for sure. Now, if I could just scroll up correctly, it'd be wonderful. Let me just leave that notification up about the thing there. Juan Toribio and Fabian were the guys that were there. Oh, there we go. Now I can see it. All right. Hey, Tim, sounded good so far. Okay, very good. Shocked they protected Feduccia. Yes. Yeah, I am too, and I'm glad. I mean, considering they didn't bother bringing him up this year. Yainer and Kender are I'd hate to lose the most. Yeah, I think Yainer's too young for someone to take him. They'd have to put him up in the major leagues. He'd have to skip Double A and Triple A. Kendall's different. He actually took a sip of coffee there at Triple A, and he's been gaining velocity. Peter was Walter O'Malley's grandson. That is correct. And so he was it was Peter O'Malley's sister's son. So I don't know how many of them are still alive, but nephew is it. Yep, Hunter being on the 40-man could mean Barnes' time is up. Let's throw a party. I don't think that's happening yet, but without Kershaw this year, you never know. I'd still like to see him on the coaching staff somehow. I like Barnes a lot for a lot of reasons, but yeah, it's awesome. Can't wait for the Friedman interview. Yeah, it's going to be really cool. Hep C is Andrew Friedman's burner account. Hey, you got the number. Call me. Let's see. Yashiva. Yes. Yeah, I know you are a Hunter Feduccia fan, and I believe a Landon Knack fan. So good day for you, that's for sure. And Nick Frasso. So they will all be at spring training. Good for that. God, Hunter, shoot, last year he might as well have been on the roster in spring training. He was always in that major league clubhouse, even till the very end. So good for him. It's a chance for him. But in some ways, it's kind of a bummer because more likely he spends this part of the year in AAA. If he was Rule 5, then he would be on a major league roster. So he can't win or can't lose. But you know what? Being with the Dodger organization, hopefully they find a spot for him. It'll be interesting to see, what they do. Like I said, Alec Gamboa, we're going to lose him. That's my guy right there. No doubt in my mind. He should be one of the first picks, and he will take the place. I mean, as we've talked, we got Vesia, Ferguson, and Victor Gonzalez. All three of them mediocre last year. So I don't know why we're getting rid of a lefty. However, maybe they got some guys in mind that they're working on trading. I think right now it's just one of those things where the trade market's not going to get hot until later. Let's see. Wonder what Friedman is going to say in the Dodger Nation interview. Yeah, good question. We shall see, Justin. I'm excited for it. I can't, Doug, as you guys know, if you follow, and a lot of you do, I see you guys on the same chats that I go on to because I listen to Doug too. Doug, get out here. Doug, get on here too, man. But he asks great questions. He keeps it light, but he'll go for it. Yeah, need less lefties in the pen that throw cheese. And Gamboa is a guy that's hitting in the high 90s. So I guess you're not liking the 92 to 94 um, 1.5 pitch Vesia or the whatever Ferguson throws that high fastball. Maybe hits 96. Gonzalez, you just never know. Gonzalez's whole thing is making sure that he avoids he's out of the strike zone, getting guys to fish. So, but he has to come in the strike zone sometimes, or they're never going to swing. Let's see. And then there was another thing that I thought was super interesting was the Guardians designated Cal Quantrill for assignment. That means he's going to be traded or released. So I think that is he's a possibility. He's a guy you just decide you try to pick up. Let's see. Need some lefties. Yeah. Could Feduccia take Barnes' place next season? It's possible. I don't see it happening yet. Maybe if things get off to a bad start, but at some point you have to give Feduccia a chance. Freeman probably wants to sign a bunch of projects like like TA, Haney, Thor, and JD. Hope he gets at least a they're big fish like Yamamoto. Yeah, I do think there will be prediction a big fish. They're gonna get a big fish. They're gonna get. I don't know if it's gonna be Yamamoto, but I'm expecting a big one. I think they need to have just to make that rotation more complete, given their current question marks, and one of them being Walker Buehler being innings limited, and going with definitely 2 of 3 of Miller, Pepio, and Sheehan. I think those guys have earned a shot, and then Buehler, who's going to be innings limited, maybe if they go with the 6-man rotation, like I wrote back in 2019, look it up. Just go Google for Dodgers Nation, Tim Rogers, 6-man rotation. You'll see it. I wrote it back in 2019. Then you get 2 guys. Someone like Imanaga, the lefty from Japan, and then Nola or Snell or Yamamoto, but it's a big one. They can do the Giolito types, but he can't be considered their big get. Their big get has to be a big get. It's got to be a 1 or a 2. We have enough guys right now. I would consider Pep is a 3, but he has upside. Guys like Giolito, can't remember some of the other guys. Those guys, they're definitely 3s, 4s, 5s. Yeah. So I think there's some more of the chat. If they get Ohtani, then the 1-year cheap projects will be acceptable. Yeah. However, Ohtani's not pitching in 2024, so they got to still get some other dudes. More teams are running 3 catcher lineups, and Barnes is essentially a pitching coach. We should rest Smith at DH unless we sign Ohtani. Agree, but also get if they don't get Ohtani when Smith is catching, the DH should be Max Muncy. If they get Ohtani and Burns, there's no problem giving away Bush and Vargas. Oh yeah. If they're gonna, Ohtani is obviously he's one of the top, easily the top 5 hitter, the top player in baseball. When you throw in the pitching, maybe he can play left field. Doug McCain mentioned that a couple weeks ago. I don't know if that happens, especially with him rehabbing. But yeah, you have to move on from some of those guys. They just won't have any room. And then we've seen, the Bo Bichette rumors. I mean, does that mean Lux goes to second? Or does that mean they're not happy with Lux? Or they're scared that he's not ready? And that's what I'm scared of. I'm excited about Lux being the starting shortstop, but I'm concerned that it's reconstructive surgery. So Smell is definitely Mariner. To be honest, I definitely see that if they want to do it. Um, if that's a good question because I think the Mariners are going to be in on Juan Soto. They only got so much payroll though. It'll be really interesting to see what the Mariners do. I do think Juan Soto. I don't care what Boris or the Padres say. Um, Mr. Soto, I think, is going to be traded. I give it an 80% chance. Um, Speaking of Padres, I'm wondering now, just throwing it out there. Seidler was protecting Preller. Um, what does that mean for him? Um, I think that was a weak spot there. I think he should have been let go after 2021. They'd be in much, but they pay the price for that. Everyone's kind of jumping on this grift. I'm all in on the grift. You guys know me. Baseball grift is where I am at. Let's see. Yeah, just looking at some of the stuff. The Dodgers, as you all know, they just don't get their stuff. Whenever there's a deadline, they're always last or close to last. I just saw a really good Feduccia. There it is. There he is, our guy. Good job, Hunter. Yeah, they got to get him going. I think they've just got to find a way to give him some major league time. Use the Phantom deal. Yes, they got to use that because you got to get a guy. Put what's his name? Put Barnes on that a little bit. Put Barnes on the IL and have him come up for 3 or 4 weeks. See what he can do. Yeah. So let's see. Where did my chat go? There it is. All right. Well, cool. Let's see what. I actually took some time out for work, so I got to get back at it. That was an advantage today, working at home. Hunter Feduccia is such a stud. Well, he's not a stud, that's for sure. But pause. I'm not one to judge on that. But yeah, we've got good stuff going on with the Dodgers. Glad they've at least protected Feduccia. Knack and Frasso were 100%ers. I would have been just shocked, but I'm glad they've protected Feduccia. Would have gone with Gamboa. They still got 2 more spots, so that makes the roster 38. 2 spots. And they still have the chance to offer contracts to dudes. I can't remember the deadline for that. Shoot. But it's coming up before the Rule 5 draft. That's for sure. I think it's after Thanksgiving. I'm just not positive. I'm trying to remember when Cody got his thing, where he didn't get offered. So that's about it, folks. I'm going to head out. I need to make a thumbnail because this is going to look like crap, I'm guessing. Watch Hunter Feduccia play baseball in 2020 spring training. Yes. Yeah, I saw him too. Got a chance to chat with him too in the locker room. You worried since Satana is open to signing short term that a team like the Braves might sneak in? Yeah. I'm giving it, I'm going to give it 64% chance the Dodgers sign Ohtani. How about that for a nice round number? Yeah, of course, money's going to, at the end of the day, money's still going to talk. And if someone comes in, I'm just going to use round numbers, not like 64. So let's say that the Dodgers offer $500 million for 10 years. Just throwing that out there. But the Giants come in and go, hey man, we're willing to offer you $550 million for 10 years. He's taking it. I know it's for us, it's nothing. It's everything. But $50 million, he's not leaving any of that on the table. He'll leave a little bit. And there's also the California tax, folks. He's been paying that. One of the ways, rich people can stay rich is by watching their money and not being silly with it. And, some would say being in California is being silly with your money because a guy like that, he's paying 13% on almost every dollar that comes in. Versus if he goes to, let's say he goes to Texas like Corey did, that's a lot of extra money per year. um, yeah, do the 13%, divide 500 million divided by, the 13% or whatever. So multiply that. That's a lot of money. That's over $50 million. That I can tell you. I'm going to definitely doing round numbers, but that's lower. It's actually higher. So between federal and state, that's a lot of money. And that's okay. We got San Francisco all cleaned up for the Chinese communist leader, but not for the citizens of San Francisco. I'm just going to leave that there because there's no misinformation there. He even admitted it, but that's our governor. Y'all can have him. I wish we had almost anybody else, but he's part of the problem. He's a reason that players are not going to want to come to California, because each big city now has huge tent cities. Versus if you go to other parts of the country, you don't have that. And some you do. Some you still do, but not in every part. Or at least there is a lot less of it. So I'm hoping that this state can get its act together. It's been here all my life. But yeah, okay. All right, folks. That's it. Thank you again, chat. You are still the best, as always. All right. Adios.